All right, and we're live. I got the guys over here from the Roundtable Discussions. I got Daniel, Lil Jerry, Jeremy. What's going on, guys?
Yo, what's happening?
What's up, man?
Not much. I've been wanting to do a Kottonmouth Kings episode on my podcast for a while. And until you guys started doing your show, there was really nobody that I could talk to that really had the knowledge, the correct knowledge and history
Yeah,
to talk about it. And you guys know your shit. And I'm glad you guys agreed to hop on the show with me.
hell yeah. Glad to come on here, dude. Yeah, it's kind of a trip. You think about it because so much had been going on for a while now, and it was like nobody was talking about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was getting worse and worse until they finally did this reboot of Sub Noise. But up until then, dude, like things were getting so bad and nobody was saying anything, and it was just like it's like this fucking mystery where people were constantly writing me because I'm related, and asking me questions, and I was thinking, hey, what the fuck? So actually, when they started the podcast, I was just like, dude, we got to do this. Like,
Yeah,
we got to.
It was a no-brainer.
And it actually ended up being like that was like that first episode was like our best episode, like
Best numbers so far.
Yeah,
The Lil Jerry.
That was fun.
Yep. Yeah, that's dope because you're St. Dog's cousin, right?
Yes, sir. Blood cousin. Him and Haas are my cousins. My dad and his dad are brothers. So.
All right. So I mean, if anybody knows the fucking history, you certainly know the history.
Yeah, I was there from day one, dude. There from
the
day it all started. I remember my cousin even telling, like, we were on a family reunion, and he had already told me kind of like, oh, I'm starting this group or whatever, but up until that point, I never really heard anything else about it. And then we went on a family reunion, and he brought this demo tape, which I was telling these guys about, and it was all these songs they had recorded. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I mean, honestly, it kind of sucked. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like they weren't that good, dude. Everybody starts off somewhere, but it was fun, dude. Like, they were having fun with it, and the exit potential was there, and it's just a trip, dude. Like, I still think back. I have pictures of that family reunion still to this day, and I look back at that day and I think, like, this is when I really heard, them starting everything to where they are now. Like, holy fuck, man, shit really fucking blew up. I don't know if anybody saw that coming.
Yeah. Daniel, how long you been listening to Kottonmouth Kings?
Since about 2005. I started listening real early, like when I was 13 years old. And by the time I was 14, I knew like everything, all the songs, almost all the history, and all that.
Fuck yeah. Jeremy, what about you? How long you been listening?
My name's Jordan, by the way. But
Jordan, I'm sorry, dude. I fucking said that before the show.
Oh no, don't worry.
My bad, dude. I hate getting people's names wrong. It's like
no worries,
disrespectful.
Bro. No, not at all. Don't worry about it. No, my introduction to Kottonmouth was actually from a Dave Dawes freestyle motocross video called "It Is What It Is." They got a lot of, I think, Dying Days, Life Rolls On, or maybe I'm getting it confused with.
It was like Adventure to Switch is
Coming too came out right after "It Is What It Is," another Dave Dawes production. But yeah, instantly I gravitated towards that music. That was right around 2001, 2002. And since, man, I just...
Like Hidden Stash 2 days.
Yeah, it was right around when Hidden Stash 2, Rolling Stone era.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Me, myself, I've been listening since Royal Highness, since the very first album.
Fuck yeah.
My buddy randomly just bought the CD. Don't know why. I think he bought it because the name Kottonmouth Kings, at the time we were, living that lifestyle, and then they shouted ICP out in a couple of the tracks, Juggalos and shit. And that's where I originally come from, is the Juggalo fan base and all that. And it was on from there. I've been a fan since.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the last bunch of years, ever since the split, the Suburban Noise split with Daddy X and Zinger, shit just kind of went up in the air. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. And even before that, as a fan, shit was confusing. They had Dirtball in the group. That made no fucking sense to me. I love Dirtball.
Anybody, dude.
Yeah, I love Dirtball. Don't get me wrong. He put out Skull Hollow this year as a fucking amazing album. But
Him
that,
as a solo artist is we were talking about this. Like,
Yeah, we say this
him
all the
as
time.
a solo artist is dope as fuck. He just didn't mesh well with them. It didn't
Right.
make any sense. Like, and if people knew the history about that, was they were actually, my cousin was supposedly back in the group, 100% back in the group, right? And they had to re-record like 8 fucking songs, dude. Like, and all of a sudden they didn't tell him. Like, a lot of people don't even know this. They didn't really even tell him that he wasn't in the group, that they decided to go with Dirtball. Just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Dirtball's in the group, and they're dropping this album with Dirtball, and he was like, well, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was in the group. They didn't even tell him, dude. It was so weird. It was a really, I'm with you, dude. That was a confusing time, bro. Fucking weird.
I remember when they made the announcement, and I was watching that video where they made the announcement. I was so fucking waiting for Saint Dog to be sitting in that chair. And then I seen Dirtball, and I'm like, I was like, whoa. At first I was like, okay, not what I was expecting, not what I was hoping, but still dope, I guess. But then
like, let's see where it goes, kind of thing.
Right. Because I like Dirtball, but it just didn't, in my opinion, just didn't work out.
I didn't really
he's a way better rapper than any of them.
Yeah, and like there's like, I feel like that was more like Loke and X, like trying to find someone that could come in and write songs, because I mean, everybody knows that dude Loke doesn't write his own raps, so they needed someone that could come in and write because at that time they were going through their shit with Richter, and they were constantly trying to kick him out of the group. And they needed someone that could fill that void of Richter writing their shit. And I think they thought that would be Dirtball, but it was just a bad choice, dude, like, in my opinion. I didn't really like that music back there. I didn't like any of those songs, really. I guess there was a couple of good ones, but I really didn't listen to it. It didn't mesh well for me, dude. Like, and that new Dirtball album is fire, dude. That shit is
really is.
Dope, bro. That guy's so amazingly talented.
Yeah, he is. And since then, basically since that announcement, to me, everything's just been confusing as fuck. Even when Saint Dog originally left the group with no explanation ever, why we have Royal Highness, we have Hidden Stash, High Society comes out. This dude, I didn't know Johnny Richter at the time was an original member. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And
it was so very confusing.
Yeah, people got to remember, back then there wasn't social media to where you could just jump on and start asking each other. There wasn't a comment section,
right?
Where, we could get the hearsay,
right?
Yeah, it was kind of a dude.
A lot of confusion. And then a couple weeks ago, actually, Kevin Zinger did a Q&A on the Suburban Noise Facebook account. Did you guys see that at all?
No, how was that?
Yeah, I was working. I missed it.
Yeah, I seen it.
It was good. I got a bunch of notes here that I made that he talked about, specifically Kottonmouth Kings related, because right off the jump, people were saying, is Kottonmouth Kings signed with Suburban Noise? Now, in the last year, shit has been crazy as fuck with Kottonmouth Kings. Saint Dog came back in the group with Loke, and then Richter was a featured artist on the fucking album. Like, okay, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's just Loke and Richter performing. No Saint Dog, no mention of Saint Dog leaving. Now we know he's in jail. Free Saint Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And the question was, are they signed to Suburban Noise? And he said, yes, Suburban Noise has plans to put out their album, but there is no contract signed with the guys. There's no paperwork. And I thought to myself, okay, that's weird. And he said, they're going to be working on their album, and hopefully when Saint Dog gets home that he can hop on the album as well, as a kind of like a hopefully. So we still don't even know what is going on with Kottonmouth Kings, really. It almost sounds like Kevin Zinger doesn't even know what the fuck is going on.
It's kind of why they're doing the King Spade thing. From what my understanding, dude, is and maybe I'm wrong because there is some shit that is very unclear. Is Loke does have a part of the name? Like I think he's maybe 50% owner of the name with X, but I think there's something going on, dude, behind closed doors with that, to where he can't just use Kottonmouth King's name, and I think that's I think there's something more to it why they call it Kottonmouth King Spade.
Yeah,
because I don't think he's allowed to use that name, dude. I don't think so.
Well, remember last summer they were going really heavy with that King Spade promo. They came out with a single, and then they were saying that there was going to be a. This was even before Saint had departed. They were pushing King Spade real heavy, and then maybe some talk came about not even using that name either. So yeah, it's real.
Well, the real thing is so get this, dude. When they came back, right, when they decided to do Kingdom Come, they weren't even going to be called. They weren't going to even call themselves Kottonmouth Kings. They're going to be called the Three Kings.
Wow.
And Nate Bernhard, the guy who does their artwork, right? He actually has some original drawings, dude. Like of the Three Kings is dope as fuck, dude, man. Super fucking sick. The crown's still part of it, everything, right? And that's what they're going to be called. And they still may do that if they don't get the rights cleared, from what I understand. So I still think that's like an ongoing issue. So I do know, like all the bullshit. Loke fucking had ripped my cousin off. Didn't pay him for any money on Kingdom Come. Didn't even give him a copy of the album. But they're
or any of the fans.
they're down to from everything I understand, dude, is that they're gonna be working on that when he gets out. They're gonna squash that. They're gonna fucking he's gonna get paid up, and I do know he's gonna make music with them. So
okay.
So that is for sure. Like that is in the plans for sure. The solo album dropping, him getting out, him doing music with them, and then he won't have any strings over his head to where he can't tour because he's doing the rest of his parole sentence basically. So he'll be free, dude. He can just go.
That's dope. That's good to hear because from what I understand, it's over a bullshit charge anyway, and
yeah, man. I mean,
free Saint Dog.
weed is legal in California. Weed is legal almost everywhere, but if you're on parole, it's not.
Right.
It's fucking weird. It all stems from a federal. It's because it's not like federally fucking. Right?
Yeah, it's still class 1 or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Federally. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where they got him tied up, dude. It actually felt like they did that smoke weed with me video.
Yeah.
And he failed the test, and then they did that video for what is it? Legacy Lives, or
they did
they did loyalty is royalty or whatever, right? And then they did Legacy Lives. The Legacy Lives ones where they're in like the green room, and they have all those bags of weed all on the table.
Oh,
yeah.
He wasn't even smoking, dude, during that video, and he got contact high, bro, and that's how he got popped. Like that's seriously when it happened, dude. That's fucked.
Damn. That's fucked.
Yeah, dude. So
but so the plan is for Saint Dog to come back when he gets out with
they are going to be fucking working towards that, dude. That's the goal, and that's as far as I know. Even like talking to, I'm friends with his manager who runs his page. And, I actually, we do music together, like up at his studio up in Apple Valley, and every time we talk, that's what his knowledge of it is that when he gets out, they're gonna fucking work things out, and they're gonna be recording music together. So. That's
dope because that just brings it back full circle, really.
Yeah.
I've always wanted Saint Dog back in the group from High Society on, even though they put out really good albums without him. Just not having him in that group, that Royal Highness CD, he was fucking murderous on that shit.
I think we all felt that way. I think every one of us would buy a CD, hoping that next project might have a Saint Dog feature at least, or
Right.
might lead up to him coming back. We're all waiting.
Even that old hidden stash
Hidden
album,
Stash 3.
dude. Oh yeah, the Hidden Stash 3 was still smoking, but
Yeah.
The first Hidden Stash album and Raw Highness, those songs were so epic, bro. Like,
Oh yeah.
they're timeless, dude. Like, I listen to music nowadays, and I would rather listen to those albums than the shit that I hear out now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Those albums were so fucking dope.
Yeah,
everything from the raps to the production.
Yeah.
So hearing him
fucking point
to the content, everything.
We talked about it was like his influence was so heavy in that album, and you could kind of tell, like, now they made good music after he left, but you could tell where his influence was, where he was truly the one pushing the fuck the system.
I was gonna say, dare say, like, after Saint left, it kind of felt diluted and washed down a little bit.
It wasn't so much like that he was a true anarchy, fuck the system, because Haas was locked up and they fucking did him wrong, and you could feel that through those songs, dude, like the anger in his voice and his lyrics, and they still did their fuck the system type shit, but it didn't ever feel like so genuine.
It felt almost more like a corporate Avenger, like carryover or something like that.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Like Peace Not Greed.
That's what I mean.
Right. I mean, one of my favorite lyrics off Raw Highness is "fuck your pension. If you're paid, pay attention. Teacher on this land, you're all on detention." Yo, that shit was hard.
Failed to raise, yeah.
Misunderstood, right? The song Misunderstood.
High Society.
High Society, that's right. Yeah, dude.
That shit was hard as fuck, and that's all over the album. Shit like that.
Bro, yeah. All the fucking, my favorite fucking song, dude, Dirt Slang, dude. Like, it's a short song, but dude, they fucking murder that fucking song.
Yeah, they do. Dope as hell. So that's dope that he's gonna be back in the picture, even though Kevin Zinger was kind of making it sound like he didn't even really know.
Yeah, and I think it's more gonna be on them. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like Zinger have any part in it, because Zinger's just more managing, like, the overall product that comes out and overseeing it, right? And throwing in his ideas on, like, SRH Fest coming back and shit. Well, like, this is strictly on them to squash their beefs, work out the money thing that's owed to them, and fucking and make music. And I think nobody knows outside of those guys whether they're gonna do that or whether they can. But if I know one thing, dude, my cousin giving fucking guy, and he really had high hopes for this whole Kottonmouth King reboot before he got locked up, and before he got, like, kind of did dirty a little bit. And so I know, dude, like, I know he'll be down. And
fuck yeah,
manager's fucking down. So
yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I got from Kevin Zinger during his live stream as well, where he was like, "They're here, we're gonna do it, but it's kind of at a distance."
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a little bit weird, dude. This whole thing is so weird to me, like the reboot. We were talking about it, right? It's like, it's like, where do they play a role in this, dude? Is it just them publishing the music and distributing the music? Because we went to a show and there was no real advertising for the show.
There
like,
was not
promotion.
one SRH Spade or Suburban Noise flyer, sticker, banner, nothing. Like, it almost seemed like they were distancing themselves from this.
Bro, it's weird because, like, back in the day, they would Sub Noise would pump fucking shows hard on their pages or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the shows were huge. Well, it was like we had to fucking dig just for a flyer, dude. Like, and it was kind of weird, dude. Like, I even hit up Sub Noise Instagram, like, "Hey, man, how do I get a flyer for the show? Because we're gonna go." And they're like, "I don't know, you can hit the venue." Like, what do you mean, dude?
That's wild.
It's probably still on my page. I jokingly made like a real homemade DIY looking flyer, just trying to get some more fans to go out there because we couldn't find any promotion from them to repost.
It's crazy. Yeah, there's like no it is very weird. No promotion.
I feel like after SRH Fest, and maybe I'm wrong, and hopefully I'm right, is that after SRH Fest is where everything's going to come together, and we're going to see more of the old school Sub Noise shit where you're going to have fucking Head PE and Kottonmouth Kings on the same bill, a couple fucking, maybe, some smaller dudes opening, and then Sub Noise really promoting it, I hope.
He
I really
was,
hope so.
yeah, Zinger was saying on the stream, actually, it's one of the notes I got here. He wants to put together a tour with like Kottonmouth Kings, Head B, Mad Child, like they did
That'd be
back in the
fucking
day where
dope.
they would just get a whole
Yeah.
bunch of Suburban Noise dudes on tour because those tours were so dope back in the day.
Exactly.
Subnoise Soldier shit, dude. That was like the best fucking shows ever.
And you know what? Think about it. I'm willing to say, I bet a lot of people don't even know that Kottonmouth are back. Like, kind of out of sight, out of mind thing. A lot of people probably were fans, and then, you know, as the beef went on the last few years, they probably maybe unfollowed or just didn't keep up with them. But maybe keeping up with Head PE or something will, you know, reignite their interest in Kottonmouth, because going to a festival and seeing them again.
The SRH Fest, I just got word they already sold over 3,000 tickets, so that shit is gonna be fucking crazy, bro.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, that show's gonna be huge. That's probably any of these guys that are part of this. It's got to be the biggest show they've been a part of since the split up of.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
their shows, they didn't even come to the East Coast. Pretty much after Long Live the Kings came out, they like just stopped hitting the East Coast.
Yeah, I noticed that too, man. I have people writing me. They're like, "Dude, what's up with that? Like, they don't come out. What? Like, they don't come to the East Coast."
And we know lots of East Coast fans. North Carolina, South Carolina, like all along there. There's a lot of people out there listening to Kottonmouth Kings.
And when my cousin was in the group, they used to travel out of country, bro. Like, they used to go to fucking China, Japan, fucking Canada, all these places, right? And they don't do nothing like that anymore, dude. Or, like, that's kind of a shame.
Yeah. Right. They used to play the House of Blues in Boston all the time. 2,000 people venue. That shit would sell out every single time they played.
House of Blues was so much fun out here in fucking LA, dude, to go to that shit.
Yep. So hopefully we get Kottonmouth Kings or just people, Suburban Noise, like bring it back to what it was.
That's what we're all about. Yeah.
That's what we were hoping. That's what I'm really hoping. Like, get everybody on there. Get Chucky on there. Get fucking Mix.
Right.
Get fucking Mad Child, King Spade until my cousin gets out. Like, let's fucking. I want to see this shit.
I could remember Chucky being on stage with Dirtball and Big B and just fucking shit up.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we were talking about too. Like, Chucky used to be more of before he really came out with the DGAF album and stuff. He was like a hype man, right?
Yeah.
He would hype up Big B and Dirtball, and then he had his own like verses in there on some of the Subnoise Soldier shit. Mm-hmm. Dude, that shit was dope. He killed it. That was like the funnest show, dude. That shit was a blast. I fucking miss it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Those shows back in the day. And they were all pretty easily accessible too, before and after shows. They'd be chilling after shows. You could shoot the shit with them, get autographs, whatever you wanted.
Yeah, all the time, bro. I remember being like, I was like fucking 16. And my cousin was still in the group, and I would just get in the show from him or whatever, and I wouldn't have backstage pass. I'd see like X or something just hanging out. Hey, bro, have you seen my cousin? Oh yeah, come on back, dude. Like, you always ran into them out there, or Lou Dog or Bobby B. And they were always hanging out with the crowd too, like and smoking and drinking and fucking. I remember one time there's this thing called that Xmas Fest out here from this radio station X1039. It was a huge ordeal every year around Christmas. It was this Xmas Fest was the year right before my cousin left. It was 1999, so it was there was Lit, Safe Ferris. The Vandals, Kottonmouth Kings. And I remember I hear everybody, like a big crowd, dude. And I'm like, what the fuck's everybody doing, right? So I go over to the half pipe. There's my cousin, dude, on the fucking half pipe, bro. Like, out, like hitting the half pipe on a skateboard, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's dope.
Yeah, dude, man, those guys were fucking
so sick.
Yeah, they were very into just, you said, very easy, accessible,
Right. But the only thing I could see, like we mentioned earlier, is like they might not even own the name Kottonmouth Kings at this point.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty fucking positive, bro. That's like Daddy X has part ownership of that still.
Which makes sense because he had the masters, and then that's another thing Zinger talked about. He sold off all the masters, so why wouldn't he just sell his half of the name to the the rights to the name?
I don't know, and I think I don't know. Fuck, dude.
And everybody in that chat was asking, "Where's X? Where's X? Do you guys have any info on X?"
Yeah, We have a little bit. The last, we've gotten a lot of messages from people that still talk to him. Apparently,
Okay.
one of the messages I got was that he's managing a punk band. I don't out in Orange County, I think they're from. But he last I heard, he was living with his parents in Desert Hot Springs, which is like Palm Springs.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
His parents have a real big house up there.
Yep.
I
Okay.
heard that he's driving Uber in San Diego. So
But then you know what? We also got an update that he moved to Orange County too.
So there's an address. Yeah, there's an address there's an address online somewhere of him in Orange County. So who fucking knows, dude? That guy's like,
he's kind of bouncing around.
I would like to see. Would it be? I mean, it would just be dope, dude. For one last hurrah, bro. If he came back, dude, like, squash all the shit.
It would be dope.
Have all the original members, dude. Have Daddy X, have D-Lo, have fucking
just even a tour.
Have my cousin, even Richter, bro. Like because that is the original shit. Like
Right.
Richter, my cousin.
And they could do a dope ass show. They could put plenty of songs with Saint on there, even though they did so many albums without him.
Yeah.
There's enough classics on Royal Highness alone where they can include him on the show and not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you could kind of mix in every other song, dude. Like, do fucking a Raw Highness song, then do a fucking Hidden Stash fucking 2 song, and then a fucking Raw Highness song, and then a fucking Highness song. You know what I mean? Like, they could really fucking make it a dope ass show, really, I think. And then you could throw in some of the Kingdom Come shit too, where Ricky was part of, my cousin. I'm really excited to see where they go in the next album, though, because I feel like nobody was really doing a whole lot of anything on this album. Before this album, so it should even be better.
Yeah,
it really should.
Yeah, I feel like that was almost like a getting the rust off because they haven't.
Yeah,
and that album wasn't terrible, dude. Like, you hear all. We were talking about it. You can hear my cousin's influence on the album really big time, dude. Like, and I feel like they really tried to go back with the. You can almost hear them trying to bring that Juggalo shit, the punk
right.
shit back on that album. It wasn't a bad album. I just think it could have been better.
I think it almost just sounds shorthanded. You know, not rushed or anything, but it just sounds like they didn't quite have the team that they had before, and you know, it makes it
right.
Yeah, and like having Richter on only like half the songs.
He just came back.
He should have been on every song.
Yeah.
Would have been.
Yeah, they should have just said, "Fuck it, we'll push the album back and just have him up on every song."
We would have been more understanding, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember when it was when he came back in the picture, and they did that King Spade song, and then it was announced Saint and Loke were doing a record. I was like, well, hopefully all three fucking just get back together.
So this was all big marketing plan. I was I was running my cousin's Instagram at that time, dude. I created his Instagram and I was running it, right. And me and Loke were talking a lot, dude. At that time we were brainstorming together a lot. And his master plan was, this was the master plan, and his way of thinking was, Kottonmouth Kings was going to be him and my cousin, and it was going to have, it was a surprise. Nobody was supposed to know Richter was being featured on the album. Richter was supposed to be on like half the album, and then the next album after that was going to be all Richter, him, like those three on every song.
Yeah.
And not to mention that he was going to try to, I don't know how much truth there is to this, but he was going to try to actually have X on a couple songs.
That would have been sick.
Yeah, on the second album, and so it sounded like his thought process was to try to get all this back together, dude.
Step by step. Wow.
So maybe on the next album, maybe that'll happen, dude, and maybe that's why everybody's so tight-lipped. Maybe they know. Yeah. Maybe Zinger knows.
That would be dope, because I mean, you could even tell with the songs on Kingdom Come that X's influence was missed as well.
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like X had a big influence, especially in that punk rock shit.
Exactly.
He didn't. I feel like in the early stages, his rap voice wasn't there, but as the album got better too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Great hype man, though.
I thought towards the end it was a little too much X, in my opinion.
I think so too.
I think he was just I mean, we all see it. He was just trying to control the whole fucking situation,
Yeah.
Might have
blew
been
everything out of proportion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it was a little too much in the end, but he did have a place in the group. Absolutely.
For sure.
Where if they go back to where it all started, dude, where X was more of a hype man, like, and have a verse here and there. Even on Royal Highness, he wasn't super big on Royal Highness.
No.
It was more
Background.
it was more
Yeah.
Logan and my cousin.
Mhm.
So if they go back to that shit, dude, if he does come back, that'd be dope, dude. I would really like to see it, and I maybe won't, maybe will, but regardless, I'd like to. I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
I would love to see a full reunion. That'd be
I
dope.
think the fans would be. I know a lot of people, not just fans, but a lot of old sub noise artists have a lot of resentment towards him because he's the one that really
He fucked the whole situation up.
destroyed everything, dude. But I think
At the time, I remember when that situation was going down, I thought it was really easy to see that this was X's fucking fault. Zinger had no fault in this at all. And everybody was blaming Zinger, the fans and everybody. I'm like, this doesn't seem right.
That's exactly how I felt, man. Like I bought this SRH shirt like 2 years ago. When SRH was like clearing out everything for like $15.
Mad cheap.
Yeah, man. And I remember right before all that, when that was all going down on Facebook and the accusations were being thrown. It was just it was clear as day to me that like clearly some people are having some issues, but let's it was wild.
Right.
It was pretty fucking obvious what was going on, man. And we've talked about it on our podcast. Like,
Mhm.
was that fucking, yeah, sure, maybe Zinger fucking to rip some people off, dude. But what manager doesn't, bro? Like, as a manager, you're trying to get your artist money, but you're also trying to get yourself as much as you can. You know what I mean?
That's his job, is to get as big of the piece of the cake.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
And I don't see nothing wrong with that, dude. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know, dude. But I just thought like it was all really just fucking X.
At the end of the day, like, is Kevin Zinger's influence like not? You can't deny his influence. Look what he did for the Kottonmouth Kings. Yeah,
Absolutely.
they would have maybe done something without him, but
he put up all the money for everything.
He's the one that got them their distribution in the beginning.
Yeah.
He's the one that did all that shit, all the business. And for X to just throw it all away like that, it's all his fault, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude. I still got a lot of love for the guy. I told these guys, he was always so good to me, man. It's hard for me to have hatred towards someone that was always good to me.
Right.
I have resentment towards him over what he did, how he destroyed such a fucking legacy. But put that aside, dude. Like, music's music. We're all fans of music. We're all fans of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And if they can fucking squash that shit, dude, that'd be dope.
How dope would it be to get everybody back in the group with Saint Dog, like it should have been.
Exactly.
For a long ass time. Bobby B, even though it sounds like Bobby B don't want no fucking parts with this at all.
He won't come back, bro. I've had personal talks with that guy. That guy fucking hates. Dude.
Anytime somebody brings up Kottonmouth on one of his pages, it's like he just shits on it hard.
It's gonna be a long comment.
Right.
That guy, dude. We talked for like 3 hours one night, bro. Fuck, maybe longer. He fucking has a hatred, dude. And hearing his side of things, I understand why, dude, because he almost lost everything, bro. He almost lost his house. He almost lost his cars. He almost lost everything. How dirty they did him. So fucked.
One of the things Zinger talked about was how after they kicked Pakalik out of the group, R.I.P. Pac, they were trying to boot Bobby B, and Zinger fought. He's like, I fought so fucking hard to keep Bobby B in that group. He's like, I don't know if Bobby knows that or not, but X was trying to get him out of the group, and I fought really hard to keep him in there.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't know that, dude, because he has hatred for Zinger too, and I wish he would know that, because it would be fucking cool, man, to see him at least kind of mend some of those fucking bridges too, like where friendships, dude. Because maybe he will never come back to Kottonmouth Kings because of his hatred towards Loke and X. But at least if he could repair some of those fucking friendships, he's got a lot of fucking love for my cousin, a lot of love, dude. He wants to help him out any way possible. He was like even saying he'll fucking get on his next album and scratch all over the album for him, and fucking got a lot of love for Chucky too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because when they asked, when he was started to talk about Bobby B, Zinger kind of like gave a little chuckle, and he's like, I probably will never happen, but I'll talk to the guy. He's like, I'm down to talk to him. And then he explained that whole situation.
Yeah, he has a lot of hatred, dude.
Yeah.
I want to get him on my fucking songs.
He did scratch it on Dirtball's new album.
See, that's dope, dude. I'd like to see his name, even if he doesn't come back, just see his name get back out there because he's so fucking good.
He really is.
I know. Talking to him, actually, he has a group right now that I'm sure we'll probably hear like within the next by next year, I'd imagine. He has a fucking rap group like straight old school hip hop, like Run DMC style. Very lyrical, passing back and forth, and then he's doing all the fucking DJing for it. So I think that's gonna be coming out soon.
That's dope. I like to see some shit from Bobby B, for sure.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Let's see, what else did Zinger talk about? I got on my list here. So it was brought up. People obviously were talking about the Kingdom Come pre-orders. How are you going to sign D-Loc? You know, everybody's still blaming D-Loc. I think he should take part of the blame, but everybody's, how are you going to make this up? How are you going to make this up? And he said, from what he understands, that it's not totally D-Loc's fault for what happened. And he actually said that the Suburban Noise will actually try to make it up to the fans that did lose money somehow. And give them extra merchandise. I ordered Kingdom Come. I never got that shit. I sent 30 fucking emails, never got a reply. That's what I talked about in my previous episode. Everybody blames D-Loc. I'm sure he had something to do with it, but you have to blame Kingmaker, who whatever the fuck that guy's name. You have to blame that guy just as much, only because his name's attached to it, and it's his company.
It was both, and that's kind of the thing is I think I'm guilty of it too. Is putting all the blame on Loc.
Yep.
And in all reality, bro, it was both of them. And I know. See, the thing was, dude, I think that, and I don't think there was any bad intentions in the beginning. I don't think they went into this saying, let's take everybody's fucking money and not send them their fucking shit, dude.
Yeah. Right.
I think that they underestimated how big this return was going to be.
Yeah.
How many people were going to pre-order shit. Because I remember sitting with him talking to him, and he goes, how much do you think, dude, we're going to fucking sell before the album comes out? How many pre-orders? Like, I told him thousands, dude. Like, at least 10,000. And he goes, you think at least 10,000? I said, I don't know, bro. Like, I mean, you guys have a huge following, dude, all over the world, dude. Like, you're not just talking about fucking Southern California, dude. You're talking about all over the entire world. So I would say at least 10,000. He's like, fuck, dude, that's insane. That's huge. And he was saying, he's like, we'd have to get like a company to help us, like, distribute all this shit if that happens. And I think that's where he went wrong, because he didn't think that, dude. And he was trying to do it out of his house, and we were trying to do it out of his house, and they were not able to keep up, dude. I had people messaging when I was still running my cousin's page at the time, messaging me saying, hey, man, I got my order, but I'm missing a shirt or I'm missing a hat. You know what I mean? Or like the people who actually did get it.
Right.
And I guess you said it's not all on Loc, but how he handled it is what makes me fucking despise him. It was how he went about talking to his fans, saying, just like acting like it's no big deal, dude. 6 months later, fucking like treating them like shit. Like, hey man, chill the fuck out. It'll come when it comes. No, bro, it's 6 fucking months later. Dude.
Telling one fan to kill himself and shit.
Go jump off a fucking cliff, dude.
I had started a thing on Instagram where I was trying to get people's attention when that was happening, and I had people DMing me messages that they were talking to D-Loc, and it was some wild shit. And they're like, are you going to post this? And I'm like, well, fuck. I mean, I want to get the truth out there, but Jesus Christ.
And there's a video on YouTube somewhere. You should look it up. Remember, my cousin was talking, or my cousin's manager was talking about. There's a video on YouTube, and I saw that video before Luke took it down. But he's like telling the fans, like, you guys should be thankful for me.
So I posted that video.
Is that you that posted it?
I posted that video up on my YouTube because I saw him. He went on IG Live, and I heard him start rambling, and I'm like, I gotta get this because this makes no fucking sense. He's telling us we should be thankful. Motherfucker, you ripped us off.
Oh my god, dude.
Is that not narcissistic at all, or what?
Dude, it blew my.
He's sitting there and he's like, "You should be thankful. Me and Richter brought this back. No mention of fucking Saint Dog or anything." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, that's how we all felt.
Yeah,
too.
dude. Yeah, exactly.
That shit was wild, and that video blew the fuck up. It's got like 20,000 views.
Man,
that's true, man. Like that's how he talked to me about it too. Like when he talks to you, like he single-handedly is responsible for Kottonmouth Kings not only coming back, but that the fans should thank him for their music. Like, wait a minute, bro. You should be like, I've never once. You ever hear someone accept a fucking award at an award show and go, yeah, you're welcome, guys, for my dope-ass music.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, you're like, thank you, guys. Thanks to fans.
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck, bro? Like, oh, my God, dude. You can't even imagine. If somebody did that shit, like, anybody else did that, they would lose all their fans, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and it's no wonder why only fucking 20 people were showing up at their shows, dude, when they first started coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was wild. Like I said, you gotta. I believe D-Loc is to blame partly, and I believe the dude that was running Kingmaker with him is also to blame as well. But I thought it was unfair for D-Loc to get full blame for that shit.
He's just the face of it.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
He did have his hands in it. He did have his hands in shipping, and it wasn't all him, dude. It was 50-50, and maybe even a little more on Will. But I think it was more like it was more so how he handled it and how he talked to people,
right?
Rather being like, hey, apologetic and saying I'm sorry. You know, we fucked up, we underestimated, and just being truthful to the fans.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he should have went. That's where he should have done, dude. And hey, you'll get it when you get it. Like, no, dude, that's our hard-earned money.
Imagine if instead of when he came on live, if he would have just said, "Hey, we weren't expecting the reception to be so great. We're overwhelmed with the support, and we thank everybody. So if you could just be patient while we get you, we have to print some more. That would have been fine.
Yeah,
right.
Hey, even send out a free shirt, dude. Like, fucking something to make it up. But the way he handled it, dude, he lost a lot of fans.
Probably.
He really fucking did, dude.
Yeah, that left a sour taste in my mouth.
Me too, bro.
I remember when that pre-order first went up, and it was through the Kingmaker website, and then next thing we know, there's, I collect CDs. You can see in the background right there, and I was waiting to see some sort of physical product because we only saw like made up images of a CD that was up for sale, and then next thing we know is on Instagram he's in his garage or whatever, and there's boxes of CDs, and I'm like, fuck. I was like, this dude underestimated. He doesn't realize how many fans he has, and I can only imagine how many people pre-ordered that shit.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
It had to have been thousands.
I was just saying probably 3,000 or 4,000.
Right. Makes sense, because I mean they were gone for a few years. If in today's world, if you're not steadily putting shit out, people forget. But I mean, like you said before, it's the Kottonmouth Kings. They're gonna have They're gonna have a base regardless. So
it's like I'm not trying to compare them to being as big as Eminem, but right, like Eminem disappears for 5 years, dude, and then he drops an album. And no matter what, his old fans are gonna want to buy that album. Well, it's no difference. Kottonmouth Kings they're one of if not the biggest underground group.
I say it all the time. Say 15 years ago, you had Strange Music, Psychopathic Records, and Suburban Noise. They were running the underground.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, bro. That was the biggest shit, dude. Like,
if you weren't around then to see it, you wouldn't understand the momentum that they had back then.
You
Right.
see fucking cars, trucks, cars rolling around with the spade or the Kottonmouth Kings sticker, dude. Like and like
Pulling up to red lights
yeah.
and hearing it.
Yeah, everywhere you went, dude, it was so big, dude. It was
Yeah,
so
man. Even here on the East Coast, they were fucking big over here too. But
You hear the same thing. Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, like Daniel always says the same thing about the Midwest.
Oh, yeah.
Just huge.
Yeah, how was their base in like the height? What were the shows like then in the Midwest?
I never went to the shows back then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they sold SRH and KMK merch and CDs and shit in all the malls and at all the skate parks. You know, everyone was decked out in KMK and SRH, and it was huge. It was huge even out here.
Yeah, man, they were big. Like I said, Psychopathic, Strange, and Sub Noise were.
Yep, those three.
It was like the big three, if you will, of the underground. They were just running shit, and they were all collaborating with each other. It was so dope at that time.
That shit. That was what was really fucking cool to me was to see, like them doing shit with ICP. Like, you know, they looked up to ICP and they talked about him, like you said, on Royal Highness. And then that first song, Pumpkin Carvers, came out, which it was kind of like almost a hidden fucking gem, right? Never really got put out anywhere. I don't. But then on what was it, High Society, the first album without my cousin.
Yep.
Yeah. And they had ICP on that song, on that album, right?
Wicked
Clowns, dude. Yeah, and that was a trip to me, dude, to see that. I was like, fuck, that's so dope, dude. Like, they had to be so stoked.
I've heard from both sides that Kottonmouth was originally going to be signed to Psychopathic Records.
Oh yeah, I've always heard that. Yeah.
Wow.
Before they started up Suburban Noise Records, I guess X was talking to Violent J, and
yeah, they had the same A&R guy from Capitol, I think. Julian is his name. He produced Positive Vibes, and he did some stuff with ICP for Malenko. That's how they hooked up.
Yep. So
I heard something about that.
Yeah, their roots go deep. I remember Kottonmouth Kings being on those early, when ICP first blew up with the Great Malenko, like late 97, 98. I don't even think they had Royal Highness out yet. Like, nobody knew who Kottonmouth Kings was, but they were opening up shows for ICP. It was really dope.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they had that 4 or 5 song.
They had a 3-song demo.
What was that one called?
Oh, Stoners Wreaking Havoc.
Stoners Wreaking Havoc. Yeah, they had that album out. I remember they got kicked off at one of the tours.
Yeah, I think it was like their second tour with ICP. They got booted off.
They're selling bootleg fucking backstage passes.
Yeah. I remember like the explanation from Violent J was like they're just out of fucking control. We had to kick them off tour, and I'm like, wow, these dudes are out of control for ICP. What the fuck?
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
wild, dude. They were wild. There's articles like I used to pick up all these articles. Like I would always pick up. It was called like the IE Weekly.
Oh yeah.
OC Weekly.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And there was always articles about them, dude. They were fucking nuts. They were crazy motherfuckers.
I miss those magazines.
Which is why my cousin left the group, because he was the craziest one of them all, dude. And they could not handle him, dude. He was fucking nuts. Which is kind of wild when you think about it, because their music was like party music, drinking, smoking bud, going to parties, getting fucked up,
Right.
fucking bitches, getting fights, dude, like. So then here's a guy that they're like, no, you're too crazy for us, dude. We can't have you in the crew.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, the collaborations that they did with them, like I said earlier, this is primarily a Juggalo podcast. I mostly talk about shit ICP Twisted does, but I'm a huge fucking Kottonmouth Kings fan, and their history intertwines with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. Got a couple more notes from the Zinger thing. Oh, and to go back to it, I wanted to say was him saying that he'll make it right by the fans that got screwed over with the Kingdom Come pre-orders is really fucking dope.
That's huge, man.
If
That is
if
huge.
it happens, that is really big because
That's honestly a best case scenario.
right.
Yeah, I hope they do it in some way. And what's is really cool because he had no part in that.
I was gonna say I wouldn't even expect him to. Do
He
anything
said
like that.
he would take a loss. He said a couple times during that stream that he's willing to take a loss just to get this back to where it's supposed to be. He's like, I'll make right by the fans, even if I have to lose money. He said, I want to get, when he talked about getting Kottonmouth Kings, Head PE, Mad Child on a tour, he's like, if I have to lose money to do it, I'll do it because I want to bring this back to where it was because he thinks he could be as big as it once was.
I think so
dope
too.
too. And I was just talking about that. I don't know who I was talking to someone, and we were talking about it's like it doesn't feel like it used to yet.
Right.
And I think that's what it's missing, dude. They need a tour like that, dude.
Yeah.
They really do, and it needs to be really pushed hard by SRH and Subnoise, like social media wise, because they're not really pushing their shit yet. Like,
Yeah. With once you see the Spade or Suburban Noise on there, it's really just like it gives it like it's validation. You know what I mean? That it's like it's on now.
Right. I'm hoping with this SRH Fest, we get everybody back in one venue. We got Big B, we got Chucky, we got Logan, Rick will be there, Head P is going to be there. If they can all just like mix it up again, start talking, because I don't know if they're talking or not, but you know, get those vibes back. And
a lot of the artists, from my understanding, are still very resentful towards Loke too. I know Big B doesn't like him, shit like that, but
I've seen him I've seen his comments on Instagram too.
Yeah, I think that could all be squashed, dude. I really fucking do. I think all this shit is just music, bro. Like, let's fucking make music.
Right. That's what it all is. It all boils back to the music. That's where I go back to because that's what I know.
Yeah, dude. Even Chucky, who's had his words and even said shit in songs and shit like that, right? I mean, even him, dude. He even said the other day, he was like, "Fuck all the bullshit, dude. Like, let's sit back. Let's fucking get back to where it all started. Let's make music. Let's have fun." That's pretty big coming from him.
You can respect that.
Who mostly of all fucking he had the most hatred for Loco of anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dissing him on his last album all over the place.
Yeah, and on that Smith & Wesson Reloaded. I don't know if you heard that song.
I did hear that. Yeah, I mean, Chucky seems like a fucking cool ass motherfucker too. Like really chill.
Down the road, yeah, dude. He don't really start no drama with people like for no reason. He is good
Right.
reason.
So for like when I saw him being angry, I was like, oh. I mean, yeah, he's Mr. DGAF. He don't give a fuck and all this other shit, but he seemed like a really, you know, and I met him at a couple of shows, talked to him. He seemed really chill.
Yeah, exactly, dude. So that he's a cool dude, and I think he's ready to put all this shit past. Like, let's just make music, man, and let's fucking. So, fuck. I'm hoping for the best, dude. I'm hoping this SRH Fest really fucking brings everybody together. Mm-hmm. Just for fuck, man. Even if like it's one last hurrah, dude.
Yeah.
It's not like if this shit doesn't last forever. Let's just get one last fucking big ass fucking like tour together,
Right.
and let's make fucking memories, dude.
Yeah, you won't know if it'll work unless you fucking try. Like if you don't try, you'll never know.
Exactly,
dude. I'm stoked though. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
My cousin's album Bozo drops on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saint Dog's new shit's dropping. What's the latest on him?
It's always been like basically he got a year of so he's been in since December.
Okay.
They were saying the latest would be December unless he got in trouble while he was in there. Could be pushed back a couple months, but at the latest December, could be earlier. Everybody was really hoping that he would be out, you know, time served, early time, whatever.
Right.
Overcrowded population jails by the time this album came out, but that's not going to happen. So, but he was moved to Chino, which is closer to home, like about a month and a half ago, which is good news, which always is like, the last leg of the fucking of his term.
Okay.
They'll bring you closer, so that way when he gets released, he's not so far from home.
Yeah.
Because he was further away. He was like in Northern California or some shit.
Right. I really hope when he gets out, sooner the better, obviously, but when he gets out, he gets back with Loke and Rick, and they put out a new album. And
fuck yeah,
because they were working off the rust. He's got a new album coming out. It's been a while since anybody's put out music.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, think about it. The timing, they would have enough time, even if he does get out at worst case at December. That still gives them enough time for the annual Kottonmouth Kings 420 release. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with today's day and age, you could record an album today and release that shit tomorrow, digitally.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. If they're working on music and they just have shit ready for him, all he has to do is go drop a verse, his verses and shit, and
Right.
maybe jump on some chorus or whatever.
Yep.
Digitally, you can literally I just released a song and you put it on for fucking 2 days, 48 hours. Boom, it's fucking out.
Yeah.
Digital or Spotify, wherever.
Yeah, man. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap this bitch up. I appreciate you guys doing this with me. I feel like we talked about a lot of shit. It was dope.
Fuck yeah.
Do you guys want to plug your socials and whatnot to the people and let them know how they can get in contact with you and all that other good shit?
Yeah, you can find us at the on Instagram at the Checkmate Industries. You can go there and find a link to the our show as well as individual music and projects that will be dropping over the summer. So just be on the lookout.
Yeah, and then we got that. We're hoping actually when my cousin gets out, we're gonna throw like a big Checkmate production fucking welcoming home thing. So you guys log on to Instagram on Checkmate and keep an eye out for that. And then all of our personal links are all over that page too. So.
Yeah, so check out Checkmate Industries on Instagram.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate you hopping on here with me. I feel like we had a dope conversation.
Absolutely.
And until next time, I'm out. Peace.
Later, bro.